Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we've got an update on WWE potentially working in Japan.
The latest on Mercedes Moné's AEW debut plans.
Drew McIntyre's future hangs in the balance.
And the real reason why Kevin Dunn quit WWE. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm a shoot lizard.
And this is the news.
Well, we're going to kick this one off by talking about WWE in Japan. And we're not just talking about holding shows in Japan. We're talking about being a little sneaky with some promotions and stuff. So, this is a developing story. Gareth and Phil spoke about it a little bit on Saturday, but some new stuff has come to light. If you're not in the weeds of this, here's where we're at. WWE has a working partnership with All Japan Pro Wrestling. This was announced over Christmas. That period, Charlie Dempsey went over and had a match with Katsuhiko Nakajima, and he had a tag match the day before. So they've already started sending NXT people over there, at least one of them. Dave Meltzer reported in New Wrestling Observer last week that WWE wanted more Japanese partnerships and mentioned Stardom and New Japan Pro Wrestling specifically. They're Bushiroad, they're owned by the same company, so, you know, one and the other, all that stuff. But we've got a bit of an update here from Fightful Select. We're going to go through this and give you some of our thoughts, as we always do. If we just sat here and read stuff and did nothing else, what would you be here for? So, regarding Stardom, Fightful sources hadn't heard of any kind of partnership with WWE or any kind of like discussions or anything like that. But obviously there are people in WWE noting that this is a new era and things could be done differently, all of that stuff. New Japan, which has long been the subject of WWE's interest, sources on neither side think that this is particularly likely. One of the reasons for this is New Japan's partnership with AEW. Which exists and is a thing. However, recent executive shakeups in both companies make it a little bit more likely than it has been in the past. So WWE obviously is Triple H and Nick Khan, and Vince is gone kind of sort of thing. New Japan recently announced that Hiroshi Tanahashi is their new president, which is nice. President Ace. Go. That's awesome, President Ace. He's also the TV champion. Booking himself on top, is it? Nepotism already, Tanahashi. God. Jokes aside, Fightful notes as well that Vince McMahon had always been really quick to like kibosh talk of working with New Japan and stuff like that. And there you go. So yeah, at the moment, all we really have is the All Japan thing, and I did watch the Charlie Dempsey Nakajima match. It was really well done. I think that Charlie Dempsey is probably a better fit for Japan than he is for WWE at the moment. It's just his working
than NXT.
Yeah, it's just his working style. It's a bit at odds with the bright, colourful, like pyro and clouds of smoke of NXT. So I'm always really cynical when it comes to stuff like this. I know what happened in the territorial era. I know what happened to the British indie scene. I know what happened to Evolve. WWE getting in bed with promotions rarely works out well for the other promotion. I think it's quite nice to sit here and go, well, gee golly, think of all the matches we could see, and yeah, that's great, or whatever. But I think ultimately wrestling shrinking is a bad thing, and I would prefer these companies to maintain their independence.
I agree, but having said that, obviously this is a prime example that Vince has finally gone properly from WWE, because this would never have happened under his watch. And I think, you know, wrestling companies working together, rather than, like you say, I think WWE coming in and sort of subsuming things is never good. I hope this doesn't lead to an NXT Japan, for example. I know that was a long-term plan for Triple H until, well, that didn't happen. But yeah, it would be lovely if we could do something like that. It's never going to be a working relationship between AEW and WWE, obviously.
Never in a million years.
But, you know, who knows? Maybe they can work something out with New Japan, and, you know, it's just one of those things, like you say, the potential matches are mouth-watering, from All Japan, Stardom especially, to obviously the New Japan stuff with WWE. I'm not going to hold my breath on all of those coming through, but I could see potentially All Japan and Stardom developing more of a relationship with WWE, and if that means we get more Japanese talent on Western television on WWE, hopefully it's only a good thing. Because
that's how the territorial takeover started.
It
was like, hey, I'll put all your stars on my All-Star Wrestling show in the 80s, and oh, Junkyard Dog, I'll have you and you and you and you. I'll sign all these people. It's like, I don't know, like I like the enthusiasm. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's Triple H, like, look what he did with Evolve. Look what William Regal did! For goodness sake, he's one of the biggest snakes of them all when it comes to this stuff. So, like, Man, this stuff worries me as a fan of pro wrestling, and I don't think people think we're really biased towards WWE, which is insane to me. But no, I think this is bad, and I wish WWE would just leave other promotions alone.
It certainly merits a conversation in the comments section below. Would you like to see this? And if so, which matches would you like to see? But let's move over to AEW and, of course, Mercedes Moné, the hot topic at the moment. Loads of speculation. It seems like she is going to AEW after a bit of a bidding war, and quite rightly, Moné demanding what she's worth, basically, from companies. Money.
Yep.
Yeah, many of you kind of got bait and switched last week if you listened to other people. There's only one real wrestling journalist, and I said she wasn't going to be on Dynamite last week. I didn't actually, I just sort of speculated.
Well, AEW promised she was going to be
Indeed,
on.
yeah, that's actually the 10th time. Next time they get one for free. She is, though, going to be arriving imminently on AEW Dynamite, although Dave Meltzer, writing in the Daily Update, says it might not be as soon as this Wednesday's Dynamite. Obviously, many people speculating as it's part of the Homecoming Daily's place Dynamite, that would be an obvious place to debut Moné. They've literally only just debuted Deonna Purrazzo, so maybe give a bit of a gap between debuting lots of new stars, because I think you and I agreed that if they'd done the Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson thing with Deonna and Mercedes, it would have just muddied the waters somewhat. But yeah, she does look AEW bound, if not this Wednesday. Yeah,
it doesn't seem like they really want to tease anything until the contract is signed, which is smart because obviously WWE would want her back, despite the reports of her wanting more money than maybe they're willing to pay. There might be a bit of give and take there. Who knows? And
Endeavour are tight bastards, aren't they?
Yeah, they're scumbags. So yeah, it's been interesting to follow this. I think she was the conversation all weekend. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like Saturday, Sunday, you go online, it's Mercedes, Mercedes, Mercedes. There's people arguing over her, people saying she go here, go here, go here. Ultimately, I think that's good. The thing that gets me the most with this is like the folk who are like, I don't care about Mercedes, let's talk about her all day.
Yeah.
Look, she's a conversation starter. She simply is, and I think that she'll make a difference to wherever she lands. I will say, I said this yesterday as well, AEW could use a win when it comes to like a wrestler coming in.
Good point, yeah.
Right? Andrade's just going the other way. Julia's supposed to go into WWE. Punk, obviously. Apparently, AEW didn't even make a play for Julia, which is insane to me. But yeah, they could use from our like what's the word I'm looking for? Perception.
Yes.
Standpoint. They could use someone of her stature going in.
And I guarantee there will be people out there with 2 folders on their desktop. One if Mercedes goes to WWE, and one if she goes to AEW. One will be incredibly positive, the other massively negative. And, well, yeah.
That's what we do.
That's what happens. That's social media in the wrestling industry, ladies and gentlemen.
Conversation in 2024. Let's talk about Drew McIntyre. His future still hanging in the balance, according to PW Insider's Mike Johnson, who, as of the weekend, had not heard of Drew signing a new WWE deal. This is relevant because his deal is up soon, before WrestleMania, where the reports. So it seems like if he has signed one, it hasn't come out yet, and we're no closer to a resolution, it seems. It was last May, all the way back in last May. Yeah, it's crazy. When it was reported on the expiry date and the fact, according to the Observer, that Drew wanted some creative assurances if he was going to re-sign. Now, you would look at his recent presentation and go, oh, that creative's been really good. Maybe he'll re-sign. Maybe he will. Like, it has been really good. And I think the finish on this week's episode of Raw, I wasn't crazy about the match, but the finish with, like, all this skullduggery and shenanigans and Drew kind of getting screwed over again and like giving him another reason to be more annoyed at the world was quite well done.
And he had a beat. Everyone's foot just happens to land on the rope.
There you go. So like that's it's good creative in my opinion. You might disagree, that's fine. But yeah, look, I think Drew kicks ass and I think he'll do well wherever he goes.
Yeah, exactly. If he stays in WWE, he's going to do great things. He could be an awesome presence on AEW television as well. And like you say, the storyline doesn't really give anything away, because you look at it sometimes and think, well, he must have re-signed and that's why they're giving him this big push. Why would they give him a big push before he leaves? Well, they could be doing it as a way to convince him to stay, or it could be part of a big storyline, because who knows, maybe things have changed in 2024. You don't have to bury people on their way out, because it seems to be trending towards him going, I want another title match, Seth. And Seth's like, you've had like 3 or something, mate. And he goes, all right, well, if I lose, then I'll leave. And if they can keep this on the quiet as to whether he's re-signed or not, the intrigue in that match would be huge.
A real loser leaves time match. That would be really refreshing, wouldn't it? Like if they could reclaim that trope from the abyss and actually make it a thing. Yeah. How would you handle Drew's exit? Let us know. Or like, I think he'll stay personally, but if he was going to leave, how would you do it?
I'd like to see him in AEW. I really would. I really would like to see what that looks like. But let's continue by talking about WWE departures and get on to Kevin Dunn. Obviously, it was kind of a surprise, came out of nowhere that he just randomly announced, that was my last show. Bye, everyone. To kick off 2024, basically. Exactly. But according to Mike Johnson, all was not well backstage with regards to Kevin Dunn and WWE, which may have sort of facilitated his departure. Mike Johnson saying that Dunn's relationship with WWE had become more and more frayed over the last few weeks. One source claimed specifically that it was getting uglier. Even after he tendered his resignation.
That's appropriate, isn't it?
Basically, as we mentioned earlier, Endeavour are looking to cut WWE's costs, and presumably he's on a massive whack, having been there for like 40 years or something. He obviously departed, and he also wasn't going to let anyone else dictate his work. I want more camera cuts. Obviously, as well, Kevin Dunn is a massive Vince McMahon guy, and under the new regime, that diminished Vince McMahon's power, and Dunn was the Vince McMahon guy. He was the sort of person who you put a bet on if it was who's going to be next out the door in terms of executives.
Yeah. It
was always going to be Kevin Dunn. And I think that's for the better for WWE, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a huge benefit to WWE in a number of levels. There's a lot, well, I don't want to say very few, but a lot of people who leave that company have not great things to say about that man, including Jon Moxley, whose quote we read the other day. Very good fun. I don't like his production style, so I'm hoping for a shake-up. That's all. Yeah, really intrigued as what they do next. Do they get someone else in? Do they promote from within? I just think it's going to be beneficial for WWE going forward, and Vince and Kevin and whoever else can go off and create a terrible wrestling company. Oh God, imagine if they did that. Jeezy peeps. Like, what if they try to buy like Impact or something, TNA? Jesus, ruin that company too. Good God. Anyway, let's move over to your Twitter questions. At What Culture WWE, of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Mark Solid, who knows how to beat the system by posting a video of his dog playing in the snow. So thank you for that. Was it about 8 o'clock in the morning as well? It was about 7:30 this morning. He's got it. First of all, he's got it. Apollo, good boy. And Mark says, morning legends, Dutch accent optional. Nope. I'll be good. It is optional, I agree. Thoughts on getting Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber? We've been here before, but Mark's put a twist on it. Thoughts on getting Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber in the first ever singles no, sorry, I've messed that up. Singles chamber match. You can even put the Bloodline members in the pods to keep them in there. Oh, presumably the pods don't open after a certain amount of time. The pods open up and Rock kicks all their asses one by one. That'd be funny. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? We've not used the... I'm all for using stipulations in a way you've never seen before. So if that means, hey, it's like a modification of a shark cage match mixed with Hell in a Cell almost in that case. Shark cage match, but the match is in the shark cage. Yeah, you are the shark is the thing. Shout out to John Tenta. Yeah, but like, I don't think they're gonna do. You know, the more I think about this, and I thought about it a bit over the weekend, and my opinion keeps changing on this because I can't decide what I want to see and what I think will happen. I don't think they brought The Rock back to put him on at 5 a.m. Eastern time in the US. I know it's an early start, American fans. I know it's a huge show. Look, it's a 70,000 seater stadium. It's gonna be massive. But I don't think they brought him back for him to not do WrestleMania at the end of it. Yeah. And I think in the end they're going to do night 1, night 2. I agree. I think that's what I've kind of come to terms with. I like this as an idea, Mark, but I think they are going to do a match for the world title with Cody on night 2 and maybe a match on night 1 to prove who's the head of the table or something along those lines. I'm just really scared that Dwayne is going to take the main event away from Punk. Although they could dangle that as a carrot, as like, stick around for a year and maybe we'll give you. I don't know. I also don't think an Elimination Chamber pod could contain Solo Sikoa. So I think he'd just spike him, wouldn't he? Spike his way out of there. There's just a hole for his thumb, and he's like, oh bollocks, that's not working. Yeah, he's got a bit of glass stuck to his thumb all day. Gee whiz. Ryan King is our second question. With the reports of Pac's return, I wondered if you think the audience at Wembley this year would be more excited about seeing Pac versus Ospreay or the two of them in separate matches so they both have a chance to go over. I think the crowd would be excited to see them both in either capacity. Yeah. as long as it's a good capacity and not, hey, Battle Royal, or something like that. But no, yeah, like I really like the idea of them doing a singles match. I think they've only had one before. It was like a 30-minute time limit draw in like Rev Pro, but it was when Pac was the Dragon Gate champion and he wasn't doing no jobs, brother.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like, okay, yeah, you've got to have a draw, haven't you? Yeah, I'd love to see a singles match between the two. That'd be my personal pick for Wembley. I think that'd be absolutely incredibly awesome. Good words. Think of good words. That's what I think it would be. Maybe not comforting.
It was the anniversary of Pac in WCPW just a few days ago. I saw on my time hop, so you're welcome for us establishing him as a talent, of course.
Made him.
I think Ospreay might win the world title at Wembley, so it's not going to be against Pac, but I'd like to see them both in action, obviously. I think it's more likely they'll be in matches that don't involve each other, but regardless, it's just going to be a great showcase, and what amazing stuff to have them performing at Wembley. It's a ridiculous sentence to say, isn't
Jamie
it?
Hayter back, hopefully.
Oh, yes, please.
Well, let's go.
Finally, Eddie Zamharin gives us our final question. Cheers, Eddie. He
Speaking
says,
of cragging the system.
hey guys, Happy New Year, Happy
Eddie
New Year,
knows.
Eddie. With Rumble season in the corner, let's fantasy book. Which 3 male and 3 female from AEW would you want to compete in the Royal Rumble match? They must not have competed in the Royal Rumble before.
Oh, jeez. All right, so basically no WWE, ex-WWE names.
Can't have Miro or the likes in.
All right, well, I don't ever remember Paul White competing in a Royal Rumble. No more
Yeah.
BS. No, stop being a dick. Right, okay, sure. Ricky Starks, why not?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be there full time soon
I
anyway.
think he's going to end up there as well. Let's bounce back and forth. Let's go.
Can I have Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum in the Rumble?
Sure.
One
why
entrant.
not?
I just want them to cut the promo. I don't even really care about them being involved in the match. I just love them. This is their year.
They're going to win as their one entry.
Yeah,
They count as one.
Co-winners.
Yeah, there you go. Baddest was the youngest man alive.
Oh. Yeah, youngest men to ever main event WrestleMania, that'd be.
They already are in my heart. Let's round up the men. Last one. How on earth are you going to get Powerhouse Hobbs over the top rope?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to pick a big lad as well. I was going to pick Brody King. So, Jesus Christ.
You're a fan of the House of Black.
Also, just a quick thing. We did a video on Friday you can go and check out, sort of predicting the Rumble entrance. And there was enough big lads in there already. Jesus, Powerhouse Hobbs and Brody King being involved in it as well. In terms of women in the women's Royal Rumble match, I think Saraya would be a good pick now. I think.
That took me a
to
second.
be fair, I want to see Jay Cargill. I know she's not AEW now,
Yeah.
but I've always wanted to see Jay Cargill in the Royal Rumble.
Throw her in there.
Could be her debut. You never know.
Nyla Rose. She's a very convincing powerhouse. You could use her for that spot. It'd be really good.
And I know this, like, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander. There's a bit of me that's just like, I really want to see Abaddon in there. I want to see what
Yeah.
that looks like.
Causing chaos.
But wildcard picks, of course.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do this.
One wildcard each.
Wild card, baby. That's
Is it going to
the
be Nick
famous
Jackson?
saying.
It always bloody is.
It's Layla Gray. Is she still in AEW? I've not seen her in ages.
Dunno.
There you go. Layla Gray's in the Rumble now.
As is Preston Vance.
All right. Big, handsome man. Get him in there. Why not?
But let us know your picks in the comments. And hey, well, you ready? Go and check out that Royal Rumble video, which is right.
Ah, noises. Yes.
Yeah!
Yeah.